Hey, what's going on? What's going on? We're back once again for our second installment, 2019. It's the Master Channel. We're back again. I am DJ Widebody.
And I am CX, the producer.
And this is the Master Channel. We'll be talking about the ins and outs of this hip-hop culture, both theoretically and technically. That's what's up. What's going on, my brother CX? What's going on?
Not much, man. Just sitting out here, you know, doing the podcast with y'all. Cold as hell out here, too, man. Dang.
Oh, it's free.
Cold up here.
It's free. I don't know if the term freezing cat and dogs is but man, it's something gotta give, man. Well, it'll be warming up pretty soon, maybe 3 to 4 months out. For right now, we're in here chilling. We got the podcast cracking, the Master Channel. We're back 2019, bigger and better than ever. Our second guest this year. We've been trying to get this brother on for a while. We finally got him on. He's in Japan right now in a different hemisphere. Ladies and gentlemen, from Detroit, Michigan originally. He's been skipping around the world for the last few years. Talented brother, got the late pass music. Man, real talented brother. Learned a lot from this dude in a little bit of time that I've known him. Let's give a shout out and a welcome to our comrade, Jay Bishop.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate being on the podcast. Mama, I made
it. What's up, Jay?
How you doing, CX, man? I'm happy to be here. Happy to contribute to the Master Channel podcast, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing for the culture and just for the benefit of other musicians, other producers, people on the come up. And I think y'all are offering a valuable service and really doing things, because, you know, I follow a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of podcasts like, you know, Pensado's Place and Recording Revolution, but you rarely see black faces. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that you guys are doing something in this space of music making and recording and just the technical aspects of it, that a black face is being put on it. And it's reflecting our culture and our values, and I appreciate that. It's much needed.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you. Shout out to my man Corey out there, B-Boy Tech, with the Beat People podcast.
Oh yeah. I follow him as well. Yep.
Shout out.
Really good. Him, St. Joe.
Yeah, St. Joe.
Yeah. Like I said, anything that can put, you know, our culture in the light, as far as, you know, we do this too.
Yeah, I'm right.
We can be just as technical as anybody else. We know how to use a compressor. We know all that type of stuff. Right. So don't get it twisted. It's not just about, you know, about trap beats and all that. We can be just as technical as any other engineer you want to pull up.
Talk to him. Damn right. So shout out Tashir Rashay out there, from CMA.
Of course.
Shout out to CMA.
The Godfather.
Straight up. Well, straight up. So, you know, it's a Master Channel. What we do is sit down, have a conversation, kick our feet up, and we talk about this thing of ours, hip hop culture, and everything it has to do inside of it, you know, from the beginning to present. You know, we just gonna sit back and have a conversation, man. I like to start the conversation off by asking you, man, tell us, man, how did it all get started? You know, how did you get into you know, just music, period, man, and how did you, you know, let's take us back to where it all began and
oh,
right up to
man.
this day, man.
I'm not a young buck, so it all goes back to I want to say 4th grade, 5th grade.
Wow.
Somewhere where I picked up the saxophone. And I started playing. That was my first. Actually, my first instrument was the guitar, because my older brother, is a bass player. If you follow YouTube and you follow a channel called Max Proud, bass channel, where he's a bass player. He reviews basses and does a lot of bass techniques and stuff. That's my brother.
Okay.
So he was a bass player, and so I grew up in a house of music because of him. And then my first instrument was the guitar, but oddly enough, playing the guitar hurt my fingers. So I I picked up the saxophone after that, and then I was just in it from there. I joined the band at school, and then my mother was giving me paying for me to have private lessons, so I started private lessons in saxophone. And then after I joined the band, it just went from there, and I continued playing saxophone throughout middle school and high school, and I would pick up my brother's bass when he wasn't looking and just copy what he did. And he went and bought, what really did it was he went and bought a Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. And when he bought that, it was all over there. He used to yell at me for being in his room. He couldn't keep me out of there because he had that 4-track in there. And I was in there making little beats, and I had a little Casio keyboard. And I would make my little beats and my little raps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where it all started, was just growing up and being involved in music from my brother and joining band.
That's what's up. Man, you've been at a long time, man. 4th grade. Holy sh! Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, I have a long time, but yeah, just just saying the words Tascam 4-track shows how long I've been at it.
And man, oh man, I remember that 4-track too.
You remember the one that had the flush dials? It wasn't even knobs. It's like the little round dials.
Yeah,
that joint.
Wow, I remember that joint. That joint, the flush with the flush knobs. I had the one with the knobs, and I remember the one with the flush knobs. Because I think the flush knobs one had the regular tape deck VU meters on it.
Yeah, it did. Yep, it had the old school VU meters at the top. Yep, 4 of them.
Yep, I remember that.
Damn. So,
now let me ask you this, Jay Bishop, real quick. Excuse me, why, bye?
What do you think, brother? How are you?
Now, most people started out, messing with pause tapes or DJing. You like one of the first ones that I could say that started off with an instrument. And I started off playing the trumpet myself, to be honest with you.
Oh, shit.
I started off playing it in elementary. Just, it's kind of like we got similar backgrounds.
Played the ball.
Most of us older cats. And what made you want to make music?
Good question.
Really, like what made you say?
Good question.
I want to rap, or I want to, because first it's an investigation on who's making that music. You know what I'm saying? So what made you do it?
I think I just had a creative spark within me. It was just something in my soul that wants to create. I mean, to this day, I still have that thing where I need to create something. I'm not fully, happy unless I'm creating something. So I think from the very beginning, I had the spark to create, because even just starting out making music, the thing was I wanted to create my own music. I didn't just want to play everybody else's music.
Okay.
I wanted to be able to create, and that's what that Tascam 4-track opened up for me, was being able to create something that's mine, something that came from my heart and from my gut. So from there, I was able to express my ideas, and just the concept of expressing my ideas has always been within me. So I think just from there is how I grew up. And back to what you were saying about a lot of folks come from DJs. Yeah, I did DJ when I was little, when I was young, but that, you're right, that came after learning an instrument. Then I started getting into DJing and all that stuff afterwards.
Dope.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Jay Bishop. What was your first piece of gear?
Besides the saxophone, because my mom's actually bought me my own saxophone. Once she saw I was kind of serious with it, she actually bought me a saxophone, so that was cool. But the first piece of gear I actually went out and bought myself was a Yamaha drum machine. I think it was the RX-11.
Whoa! I had the same joint. Oh, hold on. Oh.
Yeah, I saved. I had the summer job. This one I was around 16. I had a summer job and I saved up money to buy it. And my mom said, I told my mom that's what I was saving up for. She said, well, if you get half of it, I'll give you the other half. So I saved. I think the joint was like $500.
Wow.
So I saved up to like $250. She gave me the other $250, and I went and copped that joint.
I think I had the RX-7. The one with the pitch bend wheel on it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
oh yeah. I remember that joint.
Yeah, I had that one, and I had money to blow around that time, so I brought that and sampled all the sounds out into the SB12 and 1200.
This thing, this was a sequencer on here. Let me cut y'all off.
Yeah.
Can you save? Is anything this way to save or anything, or are you just going straight into the 4-track?
What
you talking to me?
No,
yeah.
Any way to save? Well, you just when you record right into the 4-track, and that was.
I record right into the 4-track, and let me correct myself. I'm sorry, it was the RX-8 because I found one while I was out here in Japan. I took a picture of it and put it on my Instagram. So I just looked at the picture. It's the RX-8.
The double knob.
Yamaha RX-8.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 knobs at the top. Yep. Yamaha RX-8. And I would just make beats on that and record directly to the 4-track, and then play bass lines on my little Casio keyboard, and go from there. And then I had a little turntable. I would scratch little hooks into it, and record that into the 4-track. And I had a Casio SK1, and I would sample little like bleeps and blurbs, and hell, actually back then I used to do the equivalent, because I never really did the pause tape, but I did the equivalent of pause tapes, where I would sample like a bar of something, and then for 3 minutes on the Casio SK1, I would record me playing that one bar on the one. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. And then I would go back and make another pass and sample another part, and on the 2, I would put the other ta 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 ta. So it would be ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. And I had to do 4 passes until I got a whole 4-bar sequence of me just playing this one sample over and over again.
Wow, man! I correction. I had the pads where you had the drumsticks. I didn't have that. I thought it was that same one, but that's dope. Well, you were in good. You were chilling, man. You had everything you needed right there, man. People don't realize, man, I keep hearing the SKK1 too, man. Being people's first machines. That thing must have been hella popular back then, man.
It was a sampler that could record like 1.5 seconds, and it was like maybe $100, $80, less than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
When it first came out, so yeah, everybody had that joint.
And I had that Casio drum machine with the SK stuff in it.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Now I did get further into sampling because one of my brother's friends, one of his musician friends, had an Ensoniq Mirage, and he had a little mini studio set up in his crib, and he's like, you want to come over and fuck around? Come over and fuck around. So and he didn't live that far, so I used to like bike down. I ride my bike over to his house, and he let me in his studio, and he had a Mirage, and he had an Ensoniq VFX, and he had like a Yamaha 8-track cassette, and I'd go over there and just learn how to sample and learn how to put beats together, and would practice over at his crib. So that was a big influence on me coming up, just being able to actually get my hands on some some higher level equipment and learn how to use that stuff.
Were you like the only guy in the neighborhood, or one of two, that had all the basically beat making equipment? Because it's like it's not too many people.
Yeah, pretty much. I was the only one that had like a 4-track, and a lot of the local rappers would come and I would cut demo. We would work on songs. I would cut demos for him, stuff. It was, and then another guy. There was another guy in my high school named Walter Nelson, and me and him actually. He was a studio nerd like I was, so me and him put our heads together and we built a studio in his basement. And then we would have people come over and we would try. I remember we would charge him $12 an hour.
Damn.
To come over and cut demos, because he had a 4-track. He had a Roland TR 505, and then I would bring my RX-8 over, and then I had my little. He had his little. He had a Yamaha DX100. Because I remember he worked. You remember Oak Tree? He worked at Oak Tree at the mall. So he'd take his Oak Tree money and buy equipment.
Wow.
We chose the clothing store.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he take his money and buy equipment, and then we just pool our equipment together, and then we find all the little local rappers, and they come over and pay us $12 an hour, and we cut demos for them.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like I remember back then because you know, like you wasn't going to no big studios back then because it cost too much. You know what I'm saying? Like the big studios were for bands, because this was when hip hop wasn't even really in its infancy. You know, and you know.
Now I did the first time I went to a big studio. I think I was maybe 16, because I went with my brother, because my brother's band was cutting a record. So I went to the studio with him and just sat in the back. He's like, sit down, shut the fuck up, sit in the back, and you can come. So I went down there and sat and just absorbed, the whole process of making a record.
Wow.
And then the next time I was in a big studio, I went on my own when I was 18, and I paid for it just to cut a demo, because I wanted the experience of going to the studio. So I did that then.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back then as well, where you had to get everything together, like music-wise, before you even touch one of those studios. Like, it's not like it is now. How dudes be writing, you see them in the majors, they sit down writing, or somebody making a beat. Nah, you had to have all that shit together down to
No, exactly. Because when I went with my brother and his band, they had rehearsed that song. They did 2 songs, and I think he booked it for 2 hours. So they did 2 songs, but they had rehearsed them joints endlessly, before they went in there. So it was pretty much they went in and played the joint in one take, and then the rest of the time was doing vocals and shit.
That's dope, man. Hey, I need to ask you, man. The Isolated Oasis by the Watts Club. Can you explain to me? I'll just say their name, and you take it from there, man. What was the thought process behind this whole project?
The thought process behind that project was that growing up in Detroit, I grew up listening to a lot of house and techno music. Like in the 80s, you had the whole renaissance of Detroit techno. The birth of Detroit techno was during that time, when you had groups like Cybertron, you had Juan Atkins, you had Derek May, you had Inner City with Kevin Saunderson. You had all these Detroit techno groups, and there was a DJ named the Electrifying Mojo, who would come on at night and he would play. He broke all those techno records, but he would also play an eclectic mix of other records. Like during an hour of listening to Mojo, you'd hear Cybertron Clear, you'd hear the B-52s Mesopotamia, you'd hear Devo Whip It, and then you'd hear Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince Rock the House. You hear Run DMC It's Like That, and then you might hear Prince Controversy. So he would just play. He played whatever the fuck he wanted to play. And listening to that really shaped how I view music, because it put me in to listening to all these things. You ask a lot of average black kids growing up didn't listen to the B-52s, but because of the influence of Mojo, he introduced me to the B-52s. He introduced me to Kraftwerk.
Right.
He introduced me to all these things. So going to Watts Club, that was kind of my tribute to that era, to growing up with all those influences and growing up with the sound of electronic music in its infancy, and how the funk was in it. Now, a lot of times if you mention electronic music now, people would give you that look like they think about Skrillex and Avicii and all these all these white saviors of electronic music, but their music doesn't have no soul and really doesn't have no funk in it.
None.
And I wanted to go back to the time when electronic music had funk and soul in it. And I say white saviors, but truth be told, even back then, even Kraftwerk was the funkiest white dudes you'd ever want to run into. The B-52s was one of the funkiest white people you ever want to run to.
B-52s definitely was.
Well,
it's really not about the black and white, but it's about the soul and the funk that's in electronic music. Because a lot of people have the misconception that electronic instruments have no soul, and it's what you put into it.
Yep.
Now let me say this, Jay Bishop. I find it, since we're on the subject of electronic music, it's kind of funny that, because I remember back when I was DJing, playing Clear, playing CD3, playing Man Parrish, playing, DJing during that time. Raven Princeton was killing it, you know what I'm saying? And
crazy on that.
It's funny, it's funny how, Mantronics really helped bring electronic music to the forefront with Joy Sims and all them. It's weird that electronic music was a part of black culture, but then it's the other crowd just took it and ran with it, and now it's not even nowhere associated with us. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
I agree with
that. A lot of it is because and there's a Red Bull Music Academy interview with Derek May, and he talks about it, that they went over, him, Juan Atkins, and Kevin Saunderson went overseas and went to England, and the English people took to techno music and pretty much just took it over. They started copying what they were doing, and then they pretty much just took it over, because in America it was still a niche thing.
It was.
You had your pockets of Chicago, you had your pockets of Detroit, and you had your pockets of Baltimore. And then was the three black pockets of black electronic music.
Yeah.
But they wasn't rock, and LA too, to a certain extent, but they was more on the funk end. But they wasn't rocking, black electronic music so much in, like, say, Dallas. Or they wasn't rocking black electronic music so much at the time in Atlanta. Atlanta was still on soul and Frankie Beverly and Mays records.
Yep.
So
Cameo
overseas, it caught fire overseas and spread throughout Europe and became pretty much the de facto music of Europe.
Yeah.
So that's really what happened, and it wasn't a niche over there. It was the mainstream over there.
Yeah.
And that's how they took over.
Yeah, that's true, because you had a lot of producers. I mean, one of the main producers back then who was like more mainstream was like he really wasn't a producer, but he was a producer. Was like Arthur Baker. You know? Arthur Baker, and then you had that whole Tommy Boy clique of Soul Sonic Force and what's the other group? Man, they're most of them.
You talking about Planet Patrol?
Yeah, Planet Patrol, Space Cowboy, and all that. All that stuff. And
but even then, that was still a niche part of New York.
It was.
That New York electro movement was still kind of a niche. It never spread to mainstream. Now, when the Europeans got it and came back to the States, they instantly became mainstream because, they were Europeans. So when Depeche Mode hit hard.
Right.
Right.
Well,
but Depeche Mode wasn't doing nothing any different than what, Cybertron was doing.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, you had that. It all started with that British invasion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the British invasion, when the British invasion started and MTV was kicking off, you had them groups coming over with that, and then on a soul R&B side, you had Jam and Lewis and them with the 808s, and then
Mm-hmm.
Loose Ends wanted to replicate what they were doing, and it's all history. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
the electronic music, it ran it. The Europeans just took it and ran with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes. We throw Lisa and Cold Jam up in that. Kind of earlier than.
Yeah, because Full Force was pretty much in that early electro movement. They were
Yeah.
some of the first producers to really embrace that wholly electronic sound.
You know, I always felt that in Jersey we always had our house scene, and I felt like we got the game from y'all. Chicago mostly, Baltimore a little bit influenced, but definitely Detroit and Chicago, man.
I
The
mean, that's
Marshall
where house
Jefferson.
music was invented in Chicago.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we got that game from y'all, and I'm a proud Jerseyan, but I gotta give respect where it was due. Definitely, well, it's like it was always, like you said, it was always definitely a niche, man. But yeah,
I mean, you go back when I go back, going back to the Tascam 4-track days. Some of the first joints I made was like techno and house joints because that's how I was coming up.
Word up. You being basically a jack of all trades, you're not just one genre. You're a talented brother. Well, let me ask you this, man. What do you like about the evolution of hip hop, and what don't you like about the evolution of hip hop in the last 20, from maybe 20 to 25 years ago till today?
I do like that we got to a point where people were willing to experiment and willing to go different routes, and you could be the regionality of hip hop is kind of what made it special. That okay, LA had the G Funk, Atlanta got the trap, Detroit's got the soulful Dilla stuff. New York's got that rough New York sound. Florida had the bass. I liked it. The originality that hip hop could be all these different things, but yet still be hip hop. And the thing I don't like now is that it seems like it's all one thing.
Right.
It's all mostly just trying to have that trap sound. And not saying that there aren't people who still do the other stuff, but when you mention hip hop these days, that's the first thing people think of. And it seems like there's only two worlds now. There's only that trap sound, and then you still got the people doing the boom bap and calling that quote unquote real hip hop. But I don't hear the G Funk sound no more. I don't hear the Miami bass no more. I don't hear the Afrocentric stuff no more. I don't hear people sampling Fela Kuti records no more.
Right.
And it seems like you either gonna be one or the other.
Right.
And I miss the
Diversity.
the diversity that we used to have.
Too bad it couldn't evolve regionally as well. Like, was your initial G-Funk evolving? You still have the foundation of it. Yeah, right. You don't. It wasn't. It just seems like that it wasn't supposed. It just funneled in and then went through one little small spout. Man, it's
Still there though. It's still there. Cause I'm gonna tell you why. You listen to some of Kendrick Jones to Pimp a Butterfly.
yeah.
He had some G-Funk on there. You listen to the Drake Compton album. They had a little bit of G-Funk on there. And you think about it, them dudes their music don't have to leave out of California, and they can still be successful. then it never had to. They can go platinum just in Cali alone.
Well, I give it to Cali. When iHeartRadio first came out, I was intrigued by it. I was on the Pandora. iHeart was dope because you can go check out, the other coast radio stations, and Cali had a little top 5 at 5, and they were playing shit over there I ain't never heard before. That was dope. I'm like, wow, okay, they kind of they gonna do what they want to do. All right, we got your Kendricks and stuff, but this is what this is. This is the what do you call it? The drill, not the drill music. I'm losing it right now, but they got their own little certain style of shit going over there. I respect Cali for that. Well, yeah, just
and think about Cali. Cali, people don't give Cali credit. Cali embraced a lot of music from outside of Cali. Like when I was in the military, I was in San Diego for a little bit, and I was listening to Cali radio, and they were playing they were playing Pete Rock joints. They were playing a lot of East Coast stuff, and people think that they had a bias, but they didn't have a bias. They played everything.
It was always, to me, man, and I'm from Jersey, the tri-state. We were always the stuck-up ones, man. It was like either if it ain't from here, then we ain't respecting it, man. And I kind of feel like that's how, basically they shut us out, basically, of hip hop, man, because we thought we were above the rest. It's like, instead of embracing everybody, we always had our nose stuck up, man. And that's a shame. And South just said, screw, man, we're going to do what the fuck we want to do. I'm tired of trying to impress y'all. Well, shit, Pimp C and them started there. Y'all want to respect us? Mm-hmm. We ain't rapping no more. We doing country rap tunes. And, they went on and they had, they held it down. We just, got caught up in our own bullshit, man. And it's really...
I think The Source did that.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that, too, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I think The Source, the magazine, did that because that was like the hip hop Bible at the time.
Yeah, man. You should respect The Source.
and they was always breaking New York rappers, but they wasn't breaking no other rappers. Nope. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And that left a bad taste in people's mouths because, to be honest with you, it was ridiculous how they acted because the major labels were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't care what region you in. If you want to sign to a label, a major label, you gotta go to New York.
Yep. Shit, I'm trying to think if they're probably in Atlanta now. You think Atlanta is took over as the music? That's where you want to go now. You want to break into the, me being
California.
Okay, I always thought,
Well, Atlanta had this moment in the 90s when LA and Babyface had LaFace Records there.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Sermon was there. Too Short was there. So a lot of labels had headquarters in Atlanta, but I think they kind of have moved away from that now.
Okay. No doubt. See what you got?
Yeah. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Let's get it.
Now, Jay Bishop, I always loved your mixes, man. I used to tell Wild Body that all the time.
Absolutely.
Man. And man, can you give up a little secret on what's in your signal chain on your master?
On my master. Okay. Well, first thing is EQ. So I there's a EQ that I use from a company called Tokyo Dawn Labs called Nova, and it's a free EQ. So I'm giving you free game. I use that, and I usually just cut off anything below 20 hertz just to get the mud out.
Yep.
Clean up the signal. And then I would probably go to a saturation plug-in just to give a little bit of tonal character to the overall mix. And then from there, I'm either gonna go to a compressor or not. It depends. I'll usually throw a compressor on. I like the Native Instruments Studio Bus Compressor. Mm-hmm. I'll throw that on and listen to the mix and see if it needs it, because everything doesn't need a compressor.
Preach.
So I put it on there and I listen to it. I dial in some things and I just get an overall feel for it. And does this help or does this hurt? So if it helps, I'll leave it. If it hurts, then I get rid of it. And after that, it's if I'm go ahead and master it, I'll go into a plug-in called the what is it? I'm losing the name of it off the top of my head. It's a Waves plug-in. I have to look it up right quick. But I'll go from there and master. And a lot of people forget about gain staging. Gain staging is a big deal. So before you get into your mix on your master chain, go through your levels, make sure everything is right. Also panning. I put a big emphasis on panning and spreading out instruments along the stereo mix. So, I will move a keyboard to the left or move it to the right, 35, 45, 50 to 60 degrees. Depending on what it is, I might go full 90 degrees, but that rarely happens. But I want to just spread it out. Infected Mushroom, that is it. The Infected Mushroom Pusher is the plug-in. I will put that on my bus when I'm mastering, and it's basically another EQ with some coloration in it, and it's a limiter. So I'll do some final EQing through that and add a little bit of saturation color to it, and then I'll do my limiting and push the volume up where I need it to go. And then after that, it's into some volume monitors, so I can actually monitor the actual output volume and get it to exactly where I want it to be. So that's pretty much my master chain.
Okay, now let me ask you this: what DAW do you use?
I am in Reaper. Basically, I use Machine to create all my music, and I mix in Machine. So I get everything where I want it to be and get a solid mix out of Machine, and then I will export. I would 2-track it out of Machine, and then dump the 2-track into Reaper, and then add vocals or anything else I'm gonna add on top of that, because I don't want to export all the instruments out of Machine, because I've already mixed it in Machine. If I do that, then I'll have to mix the thing all over again.
Okay.
So I don't want to have to mix it twice.
Say it louder to the people in the back here.
I export my 2-track because I don't want to have to mix it all over again. I've already mixed it when I made the joint. I don't want to have to mix it all over again, and it adds to a lot of overthinking. Okay. I'm trying to get the shit done. So once I mix it in the Machine, I don't want to have to put up the individual instruments and remember what I did or overthink what I did and start adding more shit that I don't need. Nah, fuck all that. I'm gonna just bounce that 2-track and then go from there. That way I can put all my full concentration on the vocals that I need to do or whatever I'm adding to it. Or if it's just like for a beat tape or something, the master and the final mix, I can put all my concentration on that.
Let me ask you this: when you record your vocals in Reaper, do you record in mono or you going stereo?
Mono.
Okay.
I do them on mono. I haven't really done any stereo vocals. I don't know. I'm so used to. I grew up. Everything was mono. I never really did anything in stereo.
Yep.
So I'm just used to that workflow.
I always heard the trick where the two, like you say, you record, you got one, you're gonna record your main vocals, and you're back in, your ad libs and whatnot. You take your main vocal, you make three copies, 2 copies. You got 3. You pan the first 2 of them, one left and one right, basically making your own stereo image if there's any that's needed. Instead, so you gotta think. They say you got more control when you do a mono. I've never recorded in stereo. I don't even know.
I have done it. I have done the trick where you copy your vocal and then compress the shit out of it, and then you have parallel compression that way.
Gotcha.
I've done that too before. Wide body, like copy them and then pan one left phone, pan one right, and then have one for the center. You know what I'm saying? I do that usually to spread something out, but you ain't even got to do that now with these stereo spreaders and panners that they got now.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got
That's
two.
true.
I got two of the cats. That I like. I love. Like, it's no secret. I love how y'all mix y'all shit. Period. CX, you especially, Jay, you especially. Like, that's crazy that y'all we're on this right now. We're talking. It just when I hear y'all music, man, I hear experience. I know what the fuck I'm doing. And it shows in y'all music or whatever you're doing. You're so used to it. You're perfectionist, and you don't even try to be perfect. It's just the way you handle your business with y'all music. It ain't no flaws to it. It ain't sterile or you know ain't no antibacterial soap on the motherfucker. It's where it needs to be, man. And y'all stay with that same blueprint, bro. And you evolve with it. So I want to say salute to y'all because I just both of y'all. I just love how y'all shit come across. I love how everything's mixed on that, man. But that's no secret.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that,
Thank
man. And
you.
you know, I actually a lot of people stress over mixing, but I actually enjoy it. It's one of the favorite parts of making music to me is mixing. Like I've enjoyed mixing my records. I've enjoyed mixing other people's records,
Right.
and like I've mixed some stuff for J Pass on his last album.
J Pass.
I mixed stuff for I did the Amp Soul album. I mixed that,
Oh,
so
classic.
I enjoy mixing, and I enjoy. That's one of the fun parts. Recording vocals is the worst part of making
Yeah.
a
Really?
song.
Really? All right. I have
Yeah.
fun doing that, although I'm not an artist like that. But I kind of enjoy doing vocals.
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't
I mean,
stand it.
It's you got engineers, you got service engineers that just do vocals.
Breathe and
You know
live
what
that
I'm
shit.
saying?
I got you.
And another thing, I always tell you, wide body, that a lot of times when you making a beat, I mean when you done a beat, you don't really need to mix it that much because you already mixed it while you were making it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're on an MPC 60 or nothing like that where that junk was just bare bones, no effects or compressors, and all this stuff we use now got all the tools in it. So you should be able to mix it while you making it.
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I'll say is one thing with me. When I'm making it, if it's not sounding good, I can't do like, oh, I'll fix the mix later. This shit ain't, and I ain't believing in it. I can't. I don't care what people say. If it ain't sound right to me while I'm making it, it's got to be mixed right before I even. And I know this sounds crazy, but it got to be mixed, sounding some way halfway decent for me to enjoy it before I finish my beat. It's weird, and that kind of I don't know, man. I've made a lot of shit where I'm like, man, I really put my time and effort into this. And I just don't like the way it sounds, man. I gotta let me fuck around with the EQ real quick and filter it. And I just started picking up filtering too. When I know you guys, filtering is everything. I didn't realize that, and as well as I didn't realize panning. And I know Jay, you stressed the panning a lot. And I've definitely applied that, man. Panning does make a difference.
It does.
It makes a difference because you can't, you can't have everything down the middle because it convolutes things. You won't be able to hear stuff. It's amazing that if you listen to everything down the middle and then you move some stuff to the left and move stuff to right, what you'll hear the difference.
Yeah.
You'll notice instruments you didn't even notice before because it was all down the middle and it's all on top of each other and just the signals and the panning and filtering go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
what
they do.
you're trying to do is spread it amongst the stereo width, and you want to cut out frequencies that are interfering with frequencies of other instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
by doing that and by filtering and spreading it out amongst the stereo width, then you are making room for all these instruments to coexist happily.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I do filtering a lot, and sometimes, I can take one sample and do like 4 different passes of filters on it to create, one one cohesive thing. And a lot of times too, I try to stay away from EQ as much. You know what I'm saying? I use the filtering more than I do EQ.
Well,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to acquire MPC project when I first got my test the first time, and CX sent me the project files over, and I went to those project files, and I'm like, this guy is a mad scientist, man. The way you got stuff, the way you set up your tracks, man, it's like, man, it's just like, wow. I would have never thought of setting it up like that, and it's like, okay, this is the blueprint right here. This is how you supposed to fucking. This is it, you know. So yeah, I keep that file.
You keep it as a reference.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell you something, Wild Body, man. I'm gonna tell you another tip. If you want to keep your sound consistent, you know, like when somebody hear, they say, "Oh, that's Wild Body sound." Sometimes you want to use a template on your beats. You know what I'm saying? Like something on your master. Not nothing crazy that you can't create when it's on there.
Right.
So whereas though when you making something, you won't throw it away because this shit sound like crap.
Right.
Because you ain't got nothing on it.
You're right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yup. I feel you. Hey, Jay, let me ask you, man. I'm just curious to know, in no particular order, no particular genre, man. Who are your top 5 producers / composers / executive producers?
Wow.
In no order, man.
No particular genre, though?
No particular.
Let's see. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, off the top.
All right.
Just because they had a great influence on me as far as songwriting and sound selection and just putting things together. Dilla, of course, because he taught me about programming drums and how it doesn't have to be stagnant.
Okay.
You could do different things. It's all right to make a fucking 48 bar drum sequence. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
You know? It don't got to be the same 8 bars looping over and over.
That's
I want to say DJ Quick. DJ Quick showed me that you can bring instruments into hip hop.
okay.
And it could be a musical thing. More so than a lot of people got that from Dre, but it didn't really kick in to me till I started hearing Quick records.
Okay.
And let's see, Pete Rock, because Pete Rock was taught me about layering samples. How you take samples from 5 different records and put them all on the same beat and make them work.
Wow.
So Pete Rock is a big influence. And then I want to say, maybe since we're doing all genres, I'll say Prince, because Prince made it all right to be a multi-instrumentalist. Prince made it all right to be able to play all these different things and still make it sound cohesive. And he made it all right to write about whatever the hell you want to write about, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's just off the top right there.
That's a dope list. Jimmy Jam, Dilla, Quick, Pete Rock, and Prince. Prince was like no other. He wasn't afraid to be himself. And that's dope. And I heard one album he did 28 different instruments. Like that's unheard of. And he made, you know.
Yeah, the only thing he couldn't play was horns.
Really?
Yeah, the only thing he couldn't play was horns.
Wow.
And the crazy thing too that a lot of people don't talk about it, Prince, he could damn near sing in any octave.
Do me, baby.
Yes, an amazing musician. And somebody once said Prince could take your instrument and play it and give it back to you, and you look at that motherfucker like I don't even know what the fuck to do with this no more.
Do you actually got anything, brother? Go ahead.
Now I'm waiting for you to hit Jay with that credit card.
Oh man, you want me to do the credit card? All right, Jay. So, what's the big music
Lord.
store in your area, man? Give me the name of the music store.
In my area now,
Nah, you got
My
the
area is a little
manufacturers
different.
over there.
my area's a little different right now.
Okay.
But say back in the day, I would say Sam Ash, I guess.
All right, you just received the $10,000 gift card in the mail, but the instructions on this gift card is for you to use this $10,000 card, you have to use all $10,000 at that store. Anything that Sam Ash has in there, what are you gonna get? We're gonna be tallying up, telling you how much you have to spend. So, without further
Wow.
ado, go ahead and go.
What would I get? Do they sell MacBooks? I
Nah,
probably get a new Mac.
that's B&H.
Oh hell!
You could have went there. You could have went there.
Oh man, can I go? Fuck that! Can I go to Sweetwater? No.
Hey, we'll tell you what. We'll say we go Sweetwater, man. We let's go Sweetwater. Where's Sweetwater?
All right, let me get a MacBook Pro, maxed out. Whatever the maxed out MacBook Pro is, I want that one.
What's the tag on that?
Like,
CX?
that's like 3,500.
Okay.
All right. And then, I want a MPC Live.
All right,
Sure, why not?
2,000.
Nah, live like
Okay.
1,100.
My bad. Okay, we'll go.
Oh, I know what I need. I need an interface. So probably get an Apollo.
Like 1,600.
16. Okay.
Which one?
Okay,
I need one. I want the one that's got like I need at least 4 inputs, but I don't know if they got a 4. They probably got an 8. So get the 8 one.
8. Yeah. So that's
Get the 8 one.
the Apollo.
Yeah, 1,600 for the Apollo. You just spent $6,100. So you got how many? 61.
Got 3,900 left.
3,900 left.
3,900 left. Okay,
Yeah.
I got a computer. I got an interface. I got an MPC.
Okay, get some Genelex, man. Call it quits.
Oh yeah. I do need some monitors. Shit. See, I ain't even up on what my monitor game is right now. But I'm a Yamaha person. What's some good Yamaha monitors?
8. The what is it? The white cone ones? The 8?
That's about 600.
Yeah, bro.
All right, give me those.
Okay, you got 3,300 left.
3,300.
Mike?
Yeah, I need a mic.
U87.
Nah, nigga, I ain't gonna spend that much on that goddamn mic.
Shit.
It's an Avatone mic. Avatone. I gotta look it up. Hold up. The Avatone joint. Avatone.
It's.
One
I'll tell you
second.
after the fact.
CV12. Avatone CV12.
What's the price tag on
Think-
that?
I think it's running about 5 something.
Okay. Shit, Jay, you might be able to get a Diet Dr. Pepper after this after all. 2,800 left.
2,800 left. Let's see. I got a mic. I got a computer. Give me a turntable. Give me a
1,200.
Nah, get the Pioneer joint. Let me get the Pioneer joint.
Oh, you want the range on without the tone on?
That's like 400.
Nah, I want a real turntable because I need to play my records that I got. So
Times 2
I
or
need a
you
real-
getting one?
Just one.
Damn. Okay, so that's about 400?
Yeah. No, the Pioneer about 600, I think.
Yeah, about
Okay.
600.
2,200 left over.
2,200 left over. Let's see. I got a mic. I got a turntable. I got an interface. And give me a Mark III machine.
Okay, that's 1,500.
Give me a Fender Jazz bass.
Jesus. How much is that, some bitch?
I want to say around, let's say 650.
Oh, I thought it was 1,000.
Nah, that's if you get the top of the line one. I probably get the middle of the road one.
$800 left. We rounded off 800.
800 to round it off.
You gonna
I
need
need some,
power
I need some
conditioner for all that
headphones. I need some headphones. So I don't know. Recommend me some headphones, wide body.
We'll go with the $300 ones. Those
Okay.
ones with the little cushions.
As long as they ain't Beats, I don't know fucking
Nah,
Beats.
Dude.
man, I learned the fucking Beats, man. They had everybody fooled, man. Motherfuckers, man. Son of a bitch. So you got 500 left.
You
500 left.
need a power conditioner for all that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, power conditioner, goddamn.
For all that high ass equipment you just brought.
Nah, I want some dirty. I want that dirty power.
Damn. Shit, get you.
It adds to the grit.
Shit. When I'm firming with the lights on it, man, shit.
You sure you don't want no new table or something? Put your gear on.
Nah. I want a. Let me get a synth, I guess.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So let's get a mini log. Those are around about last 500.
Yeah,
I was ready
Mini
to
log.
say that. The mini log.
You're done, man. Hey, you was the first one and second one has ever completed this list, man. Round of applause for Jay Bishop.
Everybody else like, oh, I got everything I need. Shit.
You good?
got
No, if you gonna give me the money, nigga, I'm gonna spend it.
Hey, hurry up.
That's what I'm talking about.
What motherfucker?
Shit, you would give me like 5,000 more. I bought a saxophone.
Shoot. I mean, we had one dude say he met somebody at the door and sold it to him for 5,000. Get the car like that. Come on, man.
Oh, man, come on, man.
Shit, I'm getting now. Fuck that. I guess somebody will give me 10,000 revamp this bitch. I would revamp my studio in a heartbeat.
I'm not getting nothing shipped. I'm coming to the store to get that shit
Word up.
immediately.
Straight up. Or sound.
Because honestly, I can't say. What's the last? I'm trying to think. What's the last piece of equipment I actually bought recently? Is maybe 2 years ago. I bought this Focusrite interface.
And it's
I
still
bought a
work.
Scarlett. I got a Scarlett joint for 2 years ago. I think that's the last piece of equipment I bought.
It just goes to show you, it ain't, you know, it's.
Oh no, wait. This mini, I got an Arturia Mini Lab. Maybe. Yeah, that was still about 2 years ago. So yeah, I think
You had in DC.
that was the last one.
Okay. Cause I remember, the first time I ever seen one when you had it in DC.
Yeah, so yeah, it had to be 2 years ago then.
Straight up.
Cause I had just got it when I went on the DC trip. I had just got that Mini Lab. I didn't have it more than like 3 months
Well,
at the time.
well, man, with people listening, Jay Bishop is on YouTube. He does his thing on YouTube as well. But we want you to tell us, tell everyone that's watching out there, how do we check you out on all social media sites, man? So they come check you out, man. Drop in, say what's up.
Well, the main thing to go to is latepassmusic.bandcamp.com. There you can find all the releases on my label, Late Pass Music. Also, you can find me on all the streaming services, your Amazons, your Spotify's, your Tidals. And the thing is, I use a lot of pseudonyms. So it's a thing I got from Prince and from Madlib that I just use a bunch of different names to do different styles of music. So my hip hop stuff is either under Jay Bishop or the Jay Bishop Project.
Okay.
You can find the electronic stuff under Watts Club. You can find kind of lo-fi beat tapes under MBLB, which stands for More Beats, Less Bullshit.
Okay.
You can find my kind of jazzy lo-fi stuff under Chillwell. And I'm also in a group with another great producer named J Pass. We got a group called Amp Soul.
Okay.
And you can find our album. All this music you'll be able to find on latepassmusic.bandcamp.com. And like I said, I'm on all the streaming services. You can find me on Instagram as DJ J Bishop. You can find me on Twitter as J_Bishop. I tried to get them the same, but somehow they got fucked up. Somebody had something. And you can catch me on YouTube channel as the Late Pass Music channel.
We have any Biscuit Factory live at the Biscuit Factory Chronicles this year, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more live at the Biscuit Factory stuff. I'm in the middle of putting some projects together right now, so I'm trying to get those done. But yeah, I'm still gonna try to find time to do some live at the Biscuit Factory. I'm trying to revamp how I do it and kind of get the sound quality better. Because right now I just do it off my phone on the spontaneity thing. Just whenever I'm in here working, I might pull the phone out and throw it on the tripod and start taping. But I want to try to get at least a little bit more diligent and more professional about it. So I'm just kind of working out how I'm gonna make that happen, and doing those videos and doing the J Loves Japan videos where I just go around to different spots in Japan and show how I'm living out here, going to the record stores and music shops and stuff like that. So
they really love our culture over there, don't they?
Oh yeah, hip hop is a big thing over here, and the thing about it is, they respect it. They respect it. They have beat battles and ciphers. I can't tell you the amount of ciphers I just run up on a dude's just outside the train station with a fucking radio playing beats, and they out there just spitting. I don't know what the fuck they saying, but they damn sure is dedicated about it. And I've had a chance to chop it up with dudes over here. I've been parlaying with my man Il Sugi. Me and him was actually doing some beats together a couple of weeks ago.
Dope.
So yeah, we might have a joint tape coming out. We putting something together right now.
That'd be nice, man. Straight up, man. Well, it ain't no secret, man. I always love your grind, bro. I think you go about this music thing the right way.
Yes, sir.
So it's a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. It's hard,
man,
but
definitely,
it's definitely a struggle trying to just get that. Just trying to get eyes and ears on what you're doing is a struggle, but I'm doing it because, like I said, it's something in me to create. I have to create.
No doubt. Definitely a pleasure to know you, man. Straight up.
Definitely is.
Well, thank y'all, man. I appreciate it, and like I said, man, y'all too are definitely doing it for the culture and doing it to bring more light to underground musicians and underground producers, and just making a space that we could talk about what we feel and the music that we love to make, and I appreciate that y'all are out here making a shining a light on this, man, bringing it to the folks, and it's needed.
No doubt, man.
Thank you, bro.
CX, anything closing, my G?
Nah.
All right, man. Jay, man, I want to thank you once again. Thank you for stopping through, chatting, chopping it up with us for a moment, man. This is going to end it for the Master Channel. Once again, Jay Bishop, go check him out on all those sites he just named. That'll do it. The Master Channel, 2019, episode 2. Jay Bishop, Late Pass Music. Go check him out, like I said. I am DJ Wild Body.
And I'm CX, the producer.
And this was the Master Channel Podcast number 2, 2019. Check us out on the playback. Check us out on the Master Channel on Facebook and the Master Channel coming to you from YouTube. Once again, the DJ Wild Body for CX, the producer, saying peace.
Peace.
Peace.